I want to talk to you today about a grammatical topic called prepositional phrases. And I'm going to be using your Ecce Romani textbook. And here we go. I'm looking at page 3, story 1. And I want to see if I can find what we call in grammar a prepositional phrase. And I see one on line 2 of the story. The words in pictura are a prepositional phrase. Here's what I mean by that term. The word in is the actual preposition. If I look that word up in the back of the book, which I'm going to do right now, the back of the book will tell me that this word in is a preposition. And here we go, right down here at the bottom of the page. The word in Latin is a preposition, and that's what the PREP stands for. We're not going to worry about what the ABL stands for right now. This word means in, or it could also mean on when you translate it into English. But the important thing is that when you look the word up, the dictionary tells you that it is a prep or a preposition. Okay, so I'm coming back to story 1 on page 3. I'm going to fix my screen so I can get the box out of the way. And we identified a prepositional phrase in line 2. Here's the preposition, and here's the word that comes after it. And the two words together constitute the prepositional phrase. Now this second word, the word that comes behind the prep, has a name. It's called the object of the preposition. It is the person, place, or thing that the preposition is acting upon. So the object of the preposition, or what I abbreviate as the OP is coming right behind the prep. Can we see another prepositional phrase in this story? Hey, that same prep phrase occurs in line 1, in pictura. Here's my prep, here's my object of the prep, and the two words together are a prep phrase. Here's yet another one at the end of the line. There's my preposition in, and the object of the preposition is the word Italia. It's the object of the prep, and together the word in and Italia are my prepositional phrase. Prep phrase has got to have at least 2 words, because that's what a phrase means, 2 words or more. Now, I want you to notice something. Pictura is a blue or first declension noun. Italia is a blue or first declension noun. And down here in line 3, do you see the prepositional phrase in Wila? Here's the prep, here's the preposition, object of the preposition. Wila is also a first declension or blue noun. So I've got 3 prep phrases, 1, 2, 3, and they all seem to have something in common. They're all introduced by the word in. And all of them have an object of the prep, the second word. All of them have a word that ends in the letter A with a horizontal line over it, which I will refer to as a hat. This object of the prep, this OP, ends in the letter A with a hat. So does this one. Italia ends in the letter A with a hat. And in this prep phrase, the object of the preposition villa ends with A, with a hat over it. So that seems to be a pattern, that if you put a first declension noun into a prepositional phrase, you're going to put an A on the back of it and put a hat above it. Do we see any more like this? Right down here, in pictura. That's a prep phrase. The object of the preposition is pictura, and it ends in the letter A with a hat. And you can see in villa in the next to the last line, and then in the very last line. So this pattern is repeated over and over. So what we're learning here is that if you have a prep phrase and the word to the right of the preposition, the object of the prep, let me get a pencil. I think that'll work better if I point with that. If the object of the prep is a first declension noun, you're going to make it end with this letter, A, and you're going to put a hat above it. By the way, that hat has a fancy name. The hat is called a macron. Just like that, a macron. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about prep phrases. This prep phrase says in the house. This prep phrase says in the house. This prep phrase says in the picture. You'll notice that in each case the nouns are all singular when I translate them. One picture, in the picture, in the house, in the house. What if you wanted to say in the houses? How would you make this word plural? Would you add two A's on the back with a hat over each one, something like this? Would you say in the houses, something like that? That would be a good guess, but that's not what you do. Let's go see if we can find, let's go hunt some prepositional phrases where the object of the prep, the noun behind the preposition, where the object of the prep is actually plural. Let's go over to story 2. I'm in story 2 now. Let's find some prep phrases. Here's one. In Italia, there's my A with the hat, but I want to find something that's plural. Let me go look. Right here. This says in the fields, plural, more than one field. Notice this object of the prep did not end with the letter A and a hat like it did up here with Italy. Since this word is trying to communicate the idea of plurality, Latin chose to make it end with the letter I and then an S. One way you can remember that IS is a plural ending in Latin is to recall that in English, S means plural also. You know, the field, the fields. Fields has an S on the back of it. Let's see if we can find another plural prepositional phrase. Here you go, right down here again. In the fields. Not just one field, but more than one. So instead of A with a hat on the back of the word, you have IS, and the I has a hat over it. We see any more plural prep phrases? Right here. Here we go. Now this is the first time we've seen another preposition other than the word in. First, let's look up in the back of the book and see if EX is a preposition. Let's go look. So I'm going to the back of the book, and the letter EX actually is the first word in the E section of the dictionary. EX is a preposition. You can see right here where it says EX is a preposition. By the way, EX has an alternative spelling. You could just abbreviate it with the letter E and a hat. Either spelling is acceptable. All right, let me go back to story 3. So here's my prep, and lo and behold, I have an object of the prep that has a plural ending on the back. This doesn't say out of the field. It says out of the fields because I have a plural IS on the back. So what we've learned here so far in this discussion is that a prepositional phrase, if it's singular, and it's a first declension noun acting as an object of the prepositional phrase, you're going to put an A on the back of it with a hat. But if your OP, or object of the prep, is plural, you're going to put an IS on the back. So this says from the fields, plural. So our two new endings, apparently, are A with the hat and IS with the hat. Now it would be really convenient if we had a place to put those two endings so we could remember them. Well, here's what we're going to do. You've been asked to get a card to keep track of our first declension endings, and we worked with this very card in a previous discussion on YouTube. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to keep track of the fact that I have two new endings that tell me prep phrase. A with the hat, I'm going to put it right here, A with the hat, and IS with the hat. And just to make the chart consistent, instead of just putting the ending down, I'm going to put the ending on the back of a word. Let's use Puella, as we have been doing. Puella, A with the hat. And I'm going to write Puella over here and put the IS on the back. And these are the two endings you would use on the word girl if you were to put girl into a prepositional phrase. So I'm going to tell myself that these are the endings for prep phrases, and I'm going to come over here to my empty box, and I'm going to write prep. And this is telling me that my endings for prepositional phrases, the endings that go on the back of the object of the preposition, are A with the hat and IS with the hat. So if I wanted to say with the girl, There's my preposition with. Well, let's look it up and make sure it's a preposition. Let me convince you. So I go to the back of the book. I'm going to look up cum. And here it is right here. cum right there. Cum is a prep. Sure enough. Mr. Darden still hasn't told me what ABL means, but yep, cum is definitely a prep. So if I wanted to put girl into a prepositional phrase, here's the basic word for girl. What this chart's telling me is I have to make girl end with a and a hat if it goes inside a prep phrase, or if I want to say with the girls, make it plural, I erase the a with the hat, and what ending would I add? That's right, I go to the preposition line, go over to the plural side right here, and I add is, just like that. So those are the two new endings today that we're going to add to our blue card, and we're almost done with that card. Bye-bye.